Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is April 7th, 2021. We circled this date last month on March 8th. We went through and circled all the 52 dates for the year. And again, we said just watch the pattern on how 52 dates, you'll see the extreme weather in the news, the flash flooding. It's been this way truly for all of our lifetimes. And again, it's just one of those things that's there that most people are oblivious to, because why would you ever think to connect a 52 date numerology with the weather? But again, from doing this research that we've done for years, we realized that there's patterns to what's taking place in the world. And again, weather warfare was first admitted to in 1952 by the Royal Air Force after they conducted an experiment that resulted in flash flooding that they said went beyond what they expected, and it killed 30-some people in the town. The Lynmouth flood. But 1952 in the UK, the Royal Air Force. A decade later, the US admitted to weather warfare, well, a little more than a decade later, to weather warfare in Vietnam. And around that same time, Lyndon Johnson said, who controls the weather controls the world. And again, what a lot of people don't grasp is why a nation's own military would conduct weather warfare against its own people. And again, you have to think about it. What is a nation? Do the controllers of the nation really even care about its own people? Or are they controlled by people who simply care about power and wealth? Because remember, every time there's destructive weather that causes damage in states, cities, towns, those governments go out and get loans from the banks, which means that there's profit made by the bankers. And if they own the nation and they don't care about the people, well, then everything's self-explanatory. So April 7th, 2021, it's a date with 52 numerology. That's why we had this date circled. Again, Earth and Flood, 52. When you use the rules of numerology, they're both 25. And notice the headline, 25 million people in the South threatened by severe weather Wednesday. That's today. And remember, 1 month ago, on March 8th, 2021, the 52 date, Hawaii had its worst flooding in 25 years. And if you're new here, Gematria is very simple. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. Flood is 52 forwards, 83 in reverse. Last month, March 8th, when Hawaii got it, that date's written 8/3 in a lot of the world. Flood is 83 in reverse, which is interesting because in Genesis 8:3, the opening book of the Bible, that's where the story of the great flood of the earth ends. And notice flood and earth. The exact same with the alphabetic order, the exact same with the reverse alphabetic order, the exact same with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. The one place they differ is when you run the alphabetic order and reverse the rules of numerology. But again, here we are on the 52 date. And if you read the story, by the way, Rambo did a really great decode on this recently, and even before Rambo, there were people who had reached out to me over the years and told me I need to research Enlil more because they noticed in Gematria Enlil, who's this storm god that goes back to Babylon and even beyond that, but that Enlil has the same numbers we're always looking at with flood. And notice, Enlil and Earth are the exact same in all four base ciphers. Again, this god associated with storms. And some people out there might say, Zach, it's not the military. It's that these people worship these gods, and these gods are still doing this. Again, you guys can think whatever you want. I mean, that's possible. I'm an open-minded person. But I do look up at the sky, and I see, the spray, and, I know they got more sophisticated technology than that. It does seem that man is having a hand in what's going on. But again, here's the article. Severe storms return to the south on Wednesday, threatening nearly 25 million people with tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. The risk today runs from Iowa to the Gulf Coast. Storms to the north have a higher risk of wind damage, and storms further south will have a higher threat of tornadoes. All will have dangerous lightning and even potential flooding. So again, it's just clockwork what they do. April 27th, we'll have 52 date numerology. May 6th, that date's going to be interesting, May 6th, because natural disasters, 56 as well. May 26th, then it'll be June 5th, June 25th, which is George Orwell's birthday, and George Orwell wrote about weather warfare. Then it'll be July 4th this year. Is that right? July 4th? Yeah, that's right. July 4th, July 24th, August 3rd, the other 8/3 date, August 23rd. September 2nd, September 22nd, October 1st. Yeah, October 1st, October 21st. Remember, right now I'm giving you all the 52 dates for the year. What will November be? November. Only November 20th? Wait, is that right? Or is it November 10th? November 10th. It's early in the morning. I can't think right now. There's got to be a date in November. I got to think about what it is. 41, 32. It's November 20th. November 20th will have 52 date numerology. That's Joe Biden's birthday. Yeah, November 20th and then December 19th. And again, just all, year after year on the 52 dates, you just see the weather warfare. There might be a date or two where it doesn't happen, but like on the vast majority, just year after year, this extreme weather on the 52 dates. And also, the other date we circled last month, we circled March 28th for flooding. It ended up being Nashville, Tennessee. And again, both dates with the 52, flooding in Hawaii, flooding in Nashville. They said the last time Nashville flooded was May 2nd, 5-2. Then on the 52 date it floods. And of course, watch things like that too. Like May 2nd this year doesn't have 52 date numerology, but it is 5-2, 2-5. So of course, watch May 2nd as well. Was it last year that there was flooding in Michigan on that date? Like a dam broke? I got to go back and look at that. That might have been last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago already. Man, time flies. Sometimes everything becomes a blur, but yeah, just the patterns are so repetitive. And yeah, if you missed the work I did on the flooding in Nashville, again, Nashville's 102. It happened on the 102nd day of the Pope's age, and the Superior General, the leader of the Jesuits, it happened on the 137th day of his age. Tennessee's 137, Nashville's 102, exactly where it flooded on the 52 date. And don't forget, Pope is 52, and the calendar, which is 52 weeks, is credited to the Pope, just like the English language is credited to the Catholic Church. We're living on their time, using their language. These rituals have a lot to do with them. The Jesuits are a military order. To me, it seems clear it's the military that's behind this. That's why the Jesuit leader is the Superior General. But remember, the first ever weather warfare admitted to in 1952 was on August 15th, which is the day in history the Jesuits were born. And the Nashville mayor, the news came 201 days before his birthday, and of course the Jesuit order's 201. Pope's birth name's 201. The founder of the Jesuits' name's 201. So, again, it could be Enlil, but to me, it looks like this has a lot more to do with the Jesuits that, of course, control the nation, control many of the nations of the world, and control banks, control big agendas. And also, consider the Catholic Church is at the front of trying to wake people up to climate change and what we need to do. And again, you have to remember, they take things that seem good, but then they use them to their agenda, for their power, their control. That's why Pope Francis wrote the encyclical Fratelli Tutti about what to do about climate change and coronavirus. But yeah, just again and again, same thing, month after month. I don't know how many times I got to explain myself. Again, my first book, I do have this all written in a book, big chapter in this big book on weather warfare in 52. This came out years ago. And since then, we've called out well, not a million, but we've called out a lot of 52 dates where we got extreme weather, flooding. Keep in mind words like hurricane equal 52. Last year, we circled all the 52 dates. Hurricane landed on every single date we circled months in advance. There was only one day where a hurricane didn't land on the 52 date. And on that day, instead, a hurricane formed in the ocean. So, again, learn this knowledge, pay attention, you'll see it's truly undeniable. And also in the headlines, 5 states account for 43% of new COVID cases. Remember, pandemic's 43. But 5 states, 43% of new cases, that's a bit suspicious. They said those 5 states make up about 20% of the nation's population. Most of them in the Northeast, and one is Florida. But the other thing that jumped out is from the day the pandemic was declared, March 11, 2020, to today, this headline, it's 56 weeks later, right? And we know that's the number with coronavirus. Everything's been 56. Coronavirus, 56, everything else. Society of Jesus, Fratelli Tutti, Anthony Fauci, just right on down the line. So many 56s. But 56 weeks later, this headline focusing on these states. And also at the same time, they're telling us about this new double mutant strain, which is threatening. This is in the headlines today. The UK variant is now the dominant coronavirus strain in the US. This is also today, 56 weeks later. And remember what they said about this strain. They said it's 56% more infectious, right? Just so many rituals with 56. I have a lot of them in my book that I finished at the end of July. A lot of them are in here, but even since I finished the book, there's just been so many more to add. And if you've been following the work, hopefully you've penciled in your book just all the additional ones. I'll eventually do a second edition of the book with all the updates. But they're saying again today, 56 weeks after the pandemic's declared, they're now saying the 56% more infectious strain's the most dominant, right? I mean, like, what are the odds? Doesn't it just seem too stupid, too perfect? And of course it is. It's because this stuff is ritual. We are living out numerical rituals that are planned out and executed according to dates in the calendar year. And I've been exposing this nonstop since 2013. We're being played for fools. Agendas are being waged against us by secret societies, such as the Jesuits, such as the Masons they control. Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, all these organizations. All roads lead to Rome. But every single day, executing the headlines by the code. 56 weeks after the pandemic, now on today, the 56% more infectious strain is the dominant strain in the U.S. I mean, come on. And then what's comical is, remember when Gavin Newsom shut down California? When he shut down California, the headline everywhere, March 19th, was that in 8 weeks, which is 56 days, 56% of California would get coronavirus. And of course, Gavin Newsom equals 56, like coronavirus, like Society of Jesus. And he's Jesuit educated, meaning he's part of the Society of Jesus. But look at this. Yesterday, April 6th, he announced that they're going to completely reopen California June 15th. So that was 70 days after his announcement. And remember, coronavirus forwards is 56, in reverse it's 70. And again, in my book, which I finished in July, I have so many things that are connected to the whole coronavirus pandemic that equal 56 and 70. And since I finished the book, there's a whole lot more we can add to the list. Things like, Kamala Harris getting her vaccine on live TV 70 days after her 56th birthday. Sanjay Gupta getting the vaccine on TV 56 days after his birthday on a 70-date numerology. And right on down the line. I mean, this Gavin Newsom one's another perfect example. He locks the state down in a 56 ritual, then he announces that he's opening it up in a 70 ritual. And again, coronavirus 56 forward, 70 in reverse. COVID vaccine 56 forward, 70 in reverse. Gavin Newsom, again, 56, Society of Jesus. Also, notice June 15th is the day leaving 199 days left in the year. That's the 46th prime number, and he made the announcement on April 6th, 46. Virus is 46. Chaos is 46. The Latin Ordo ab Chaos 46, which means order out of chaos, which is the Jesuit agenda. And the other thing about that was the announcement was made 187 days before his birthday. Society of Jesus has the gematria of 56 and 187. And from the day the pandemic was declared to April 6th, it was 55 weeks and 60 days later. Or if you count the span of days, that's an exact span of 56 weeks. Whereas today, April 7th, is exactly 56 weeks later. So yesterday also had the 56 connection. And again, I don't know how people can continue to look at this and think, oh, maybe that's a coincidence too. No way, you guys. These are not coincidences. This is straight mockery. The Jesuits control everything from your March Madness to your puppet president, to your politicians, to your news stations. They do. They just do. You need to swallow that pill. There's no choices here. Swallow the pill of truth. See how all roads point to Rome. They're the only network in the world well enough established, long enough established, and if you follow the historical timeline, they're the only ones that all this can line up for. In the same time that the Jesuits begin working for the church, shortly after, you have the language, you have the calendar, and just everything since then just lines up perfectly. I mean, again, this entire nation, we've been told a false history. There's a reason there's 56 signers on the Declaration of Independence. The new book, I'll make all this real crystal clear. The Jesuits have controlled this nation from the beginning. D.C. was always controlled by the Jesuits. It was Rome on the Potomac. The Jesuits have been there longer than the feds. You know, the Catholic Church, always interested in control. I'm sure there were people who came over here and tried to start a new nation and escape the church, which is kind of the story. But you don't think the church was watching that and making sure that, you know, okay, you can try to escape us, but it's just not going to happen. You're not as powerful as us. And as I say that, realize the people of the world could have more power than the church if they stood up and organized and woke up and began networking and doing the types of things we need to do. But right now, they are the most powerful, organized thing in the world, absolutely. And that will continue to be the case until we do something to change it. Also, all this stuff about double mutant that they keep repeating like it's supposed to sound scary. It's a double mutant. Just notice that it has Gematria 68. Remember, 1968 was the year coronavirus was coined. Again, that's chapter 2 of my book. Everything that went down in 1968. HIV in 68, coronavirus in 68, the Osaka flu in 68. Some of you guys probably know about the predictive programming for this in The Simpsons. But, of course, in 1968, 911 made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began in New York. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Again, all this stuff's connected. They're all part of ongoing agendas that are about building power and control and surveillance over people with technology. But, oh yeah, this whole double mutant thing, too, they said was confirmed on Easter Sunday, and we know that, again, you guys, I'll remind, Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China, was on October 18th, 10/18, and the same group did CLADEX, May 15th, 2018, 666 days before the pandemic was declared, and 10/18 and 666 were just made real clear through Lil Nas X's sneakers with the Luke 10:18, and the 666 pairs and the drop of blood in the human souls. What did I just say? The drop of human blood in the soles of the shoes. But again, 666, 10:18, and Luke 10:18, Satan comes to earth. In CLADEX, in Event 201, the news anchor is Me-Serve. That's the fictional news anchor they make for the simulation. Me-Serve, the first tenet of Satanism is serve yourself. Realize these agendas put on by these powerful corporations, they're serving themselves at the expense of everyone else. And you have to realize, your government is bought and paid for by these big industry giants, including in the world of pharmacy. So is your news, especially your news, since almost all they advertise is pharmaceuticals. It's not hard to see who's controlling who and to whose benefit. And they're mocking us with their rituals. And remember, 666 is the mark. You have to accept it if you want to buy or sell. How many things are stores trying to make you do if you want to buy or sell in their store? Wear a mask. Pretty soon get a vaccine. COVID passport. And realize we're going to be living out this agenda, the battle between states. This whole thing with the Florida governor banning the vaccine passport, that wasn't a hero move. That was a puppet move. Last year, DeSantis shut down Florida on his 201st day of his age. This year, on his 201st day of his age, 201, the number of the Jesuits, Event 201. This year, he banned the vaccine passports. That's just going to create, the greater federal, push to overcome more states' rights and push through big agendas. He's just doing his part in the ongoing narrative because, you got to watch the whole show play out. They move us with theater and with staged rituals and bring about their contrived debates and talking points. And, they have a planned end result that they want in most people's mind. Oh, look at how Florida did that and this happened to them, but this state went this way and this was a much better. I mean, you just know eventually that's what it's going to come to. They're going to persuade you. They're going to try to persuade you to see things the way they want you to see them. Why you need to give up more rights and liberties, why you need greater surveillance over you, why we need to make sure everybody's in compliance with Big Brother. We all know that's ultimately what they want. And then also, again, Tiger Woods back in the news today. Today, Well, I think it might be going on right about now because I think they said at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, they were going to release the cause. Here, let me just do a web search right now. Let's see what happens when I type in Tiger Woods. This could be going on right now. Sheriff to reveal Tiger Woods crash report. Findings momentarily. Well, it'll probably update here soon after I'm done with this live stream. But remember, Tiger Woods' car accident was February 23rd, the 54th day of the year. And we said, what a day for a Tiger Woods news story. Tiger Woods equals 54 forwards and backwards. And I said that day, this is clearly a ritual with the upcoming Masters. Because the Masters week begins on 5/4, April 5th. That's the Jesuit order number. The Jesuits control sports. For the record, for people who think this all stupid, 2 years ago we said White Tiger would win the Masters. We had no doubts about it. He'd won his first Masters in 97. By the way, today's the 97th day of the year, and we're getting this Tiger news the day before the Masters starts. But 2 years ago, the reason we knew Tiger would win is because he'd won his first Masters in 97. 2019 was 22 years later, which is the Master Builder number, and Tiger had won his last major 11 years before the Masters. 11's the Master number. So we had his first Masters 22 years before 2019, his last major 11 years before that Masters. We said, come on, man, you can't get a better Master ritual. Tiger's back. He's 43 right now. 43 is the 14th prime. Golf's 14. And then there was also a thing with how it lined up with the tournament lined up with his birthday. But sure enough, Tiger won the Masters. And last year was the 84th Masters. We liked Dustin Johnson to win the Masters last year before it began because he was born in 84, and the Masters had been moved to a really weird time of the year, the winter or late fall, when normally it's in the spring, right? But because of COVID, they had to move it to November, and the 11th month, right? The Master number 11, they had to move the Masters to the 11th month because of COVID. But it made it so that the man born in 84, Dustin Johnson, the tournament ended on his 144th day of his age. The word Jesuit is 84. The word Jesuit order is 144. Jesuit order, the small way, is also 54, like Tiger Woods. What's weird is this year's Masters, because it's so close to last year's Masters, also begins 144 days. I got to go back and double check it. I believe the Masters begins 140, or it either begins or ends 144 days after the last Masters. Let me think about that. It begins 144 days. It ends 147 days after. That's what it is. So there's 144 with the start of this Masters again. And again, it's the Jesuit order. The Jesuits control the world of news, politics, sports, entertainment, military. Again, it's crystal clear. But look at this. From the wreck, right? February 23rd to today's update about the cause of death, it's 43 days. Tiger Woods won the Masters at age 43. 43 is the 14th prime. Golf's 14. This is the day before the Masters begins. Today's the 97th day of the year again. Tiger won his first Masters in 97. By the way, 97 is the 25th prime number. That's probably also part of the reason you got this headline about 25 million people in danger of the storm today. But just as a reminder, Tiger's birthday is December 30th, 1975. So he turned 43 in 2018, which was his last birthday before the 2019 Masters that he won on 14/4, like 144. You see how this goes? Dustin Johnson wins the 84th Masters on his 144th day of his age. He's the defending champion. The Masters starts 144 days after it ended. But remember with Tiger, there was this big thing too, because the Masters that year ended on his 106th day of his age. Black 106, Black Lives Matter 106, I Can't Breathe 106, a lot of rituals with black Americans in 106. Barack Obama put out his book, A Promised Land, 106 days from his birthday. Not to mention his birthday is 8/4. But again, just this year the Masters ends on the day it began in 2019. This year the Masters begins April 8th, ends April 11th. And again, said that this was clearly a ritual with the Masters when Tiger injured. This article was written by this mainstream website, Golf Magic. It was written the day after I put out my video. YouTuber makes video suggesting Tiger Woods car crash is fake. Gematria Effect Sports believes the Tiger Woods car crash is a ritual for the Masters week and that Woods hasn't even had surgery. And then he writes, just when I thought the world couldn't get any crazier, I wake up on Wednesday morning to find a video in the Golf Magic inbox of a man suggesting that the breaking news of Tiger Woods being involved in a serious car accident is fake and being used as a ritual for the Masters Week. Now, here's my response to this. I don't mean to sound arrogant in this way, but if you work in the world of sports and you don't know my name in 2021, you're not a good sports journalist. You're not doing any real research. And here, just to speak facts, again, USA Today wrote an article about me January 2016. Vice News wrote their article the next year. Sports Illustrated wrote an article that year that didn't mention me, but it talked about a YouTuber. It was obvious that they were pointing to me. And again, there's been other articles here and there that I've forgotten about. But the point is, and like I said, the last time I went down to place a bet in Vegas at the Westgate, I got to talk to the people that work there because they all follow my work. So there are people in the world who know about this work. We've been killing sports. We've been predicting sports. We've been exposing sports. For this guy to just wake up and be like, what is this? I never heard anything about this. Dude, you need to pull your head out of your ass if you're a journalist. I'm sorry. You are a bad journalist if you're in the world of sports and you don't know who I am. That's probably where I am most known, is in the world of sports. And again, I'd like to see this clown do a follow-up article. So Golf Magic. What's your name? Jack Seddon. Please do a follow-up article. Come on, man. Now we're getting the cause of the crash the day before the Masters on the 97th day of the year when Tiger won his first Masters in 97. I mean, come on, man. Here, let's just read the rest of this article. The YouTuber who made the video runs an account called Gematria Effect Sports and has amassed over 65,000 subscribers. Well, that's poor research too, because again, you should know that the channel's been deleted 21 times now. We would have amassed probably over 1 million subscribers easily without all the censorship. Where he analyzes sports stories and events using a code system called Gematria and suggests they are rigged, fixed, and in some cases, such as the Wood story, just simply not true. And by the way, he's saying, what could be crazier than this? Have you seen any evidence that Tiger Woods was injured? Has there been one shred of evidence on the TV that Tiger Woods was injured? The answer is no, there has not. You haven't seen Tiger Woods. You saw a car in a little green area between the road and a story that didn't make any sense. There was a clear numerical ritual. I mean, the only people who are crazy in 2021 are the people still believing a single word of anything on TV. Period. End of discussion. The TV lies to you every day, the most bogus, unsupported, ridiculous stories every day that make zero sense. And they throw them out because they don't expect anybody to do any follow-up research. And sadly, that's the way people have been programmed, that if you question the authority, then you're crazy, even though all they do is ever lie to you, and it's so obvious. So he writes, according to Wikipedia, I had no idea what Gematria even was. Gematria is an alphanumeric code of assigning a numerical value to a name, word, or phrase based on its letters. A single word can yield multiple values depending on the cipher used. Gematria is a Hebrew alphanumeric code or cipher that was probably used in biblical times and was later adopted by other cultures. The video was streamed live on YouTube as the news about Woods started to make the headlines, and the conspiracy theorist starts the video by saying, the big news on February 23rd, the 54th day of the year, Tiger Woods has reportedly crashed in a one-car accident, and I would bet my house, all my life savings, my mom's, he said mums, he must be UK. I didn't say mum. We don't say mum over here in the US. My mom's life and my dad's life and everyone else's life, including my own, that this entire story is a huge pile of bullshit. And you know what? It is. It is a huge pile of bullshit. That's why you haven't seen a single thing. That's why ESPN was giving you stuff like this. Blah, 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 blah. And by the way, none of this comes from Tiger Woods, anyone connected to Tiger Woods, any doctors working on Tiger Woods, but it's the latest information that's out circulating. I mean, that's how they were reporting on this. It's like, wait a minute. Okay. So you said all this stuff about the condition of his legs and all this, but then at the end, it's almost like the end of a pharmaceutical commercial where you give this warning about how the information comes from nobody who would know anything. It's all bullshit. Go watch the movie Network. That was more than a movie. So he writes, well, apologies if any fans of his channel are reading this, but the only bullshit I'm hearing is coming out of this man's mouth in the video. So again, for this clown right here who still feels this way, Jack, you're going to have to hit the road, Jack. Come on, buddy. On the 97th day of the year, the day before the Masters, now they're going to release the cause of the crash? 43 days later when he won the last Masters at 43. And by the way, Jack, we helped a lot of people win a lot of money because we guaranteed Tiger was going to win it that year because it was too easy with the 11-22 thing. Just like we helped a lot of people win a lot last year with Justin Thomas and the Jesuit order ritual. And I got to be honest, this year's a lot trickier. This year I'm just like, what are they doing this year? Some years are easier to see than others. But hey, man, have you ever called the Masters 2 years in a row? Probably not. I don't even watch golf. We murdered the entire world of sports year after year. And again, I mean, we even called the days of storms before they happen, you know? So again, Jack, your level of detecting bullshit, you don't have that level. You're full of bullshit. That's why you don't see bullshit. And when the truth comes at you, you call it bullshit. You're just what we call another lemming, Jack. You might work for some company and write golf articles, but at the end of the day, you're just a nobody lemming with not enough brains to see the truth. That's who you are. So know that about yourself, Jack. And I hope you do a follow-up article, and I hope you just say, it's all a coincidence. 97. Yeah. I can't wait to hear the response. You should write an article saying that your head, you realized, is just full of bullshit, and your whole life is dictated by bullshit, and you're not smart enough to see through bullshit, and the bullshitters own your life and soul and mind and everything about you, just like they do the majority of the idiot masses. So you can't say that about yours truly. Yours truly sees through the bullshit, educates people about how to see through it, helps them put money in their pocket, and helps them escape the matrix of bullshit. You're trying to put people back in, which means you're bullshit. So, okay. Then he goes on, at around 11 minutes into the video, funny he writes it that way, the conspiracy theorist, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy exposer, huge difference. We deal in conspiracy fact over here. Retards use the word conspiracy theorist when they call facts theories. So that's part of your retardation, Jack. You're retarded. Know that too. You should put that in your article, that you're consumed by bullshit and retarded. These would be factual statements that you could write in your next story. Should write things like, I don't have a fraction the genius of Zachary Hubbard. You should put my name out there too, because more people should know my name. But I know you were probably told not to, because USA Today made that mistake in 2016, and they brought a lot of people to the work just in time to see me predict Prince's death right before it happened, which was dead on, sadly, as well. But at around 11 minutes into the video, the conspiracy theorist suggests that not a single part of the story is true and that the Woods hasn't even had surgery. And hey, Jack, where was any evidence that any of it was true or that he had surgery? Was it when ESPN gave you a whole load of bullshit and then in the end said that all this is just a bunch of hearsay and nobody knows anything? Have you seen any footage of Tiger Woods being operated on? I mean, they had to make sure the whole world knew about the story, so how come there was no visual evidence to support it? It was like the one day that all of a sudden COVID didn't matter in the last year, right? We'll see if they say he's going to miss the Masters because of this. We'll see. I'm going to be paying attention. I guarantee this story is bullshit. Well, he's definitely going to miss the Masters because of it. It's part of the ritual. He's not out getting surgery on his legs right now. Okay, so he's quoting me. And yeah, fine, quote me all day. Again, you don't have anything to show that he ever had surgery. I know that the news is full of bullshit. We expose it every day. Hey, why don't you do a follow-up article on the King Super shooting? Why don't you do that one? Go look at the footage and then tell me how real that looked. Again, the media feeds you bullshit every day. Listen, I know absolutely nothing about Gematria, and this bloke has plenty of subscribers, so he's clearly not the only one who thinks the Woods story is fake, but there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that what we are hearing is true. And from, so this guy concludes by saying, everything we're hearing is true because I just believe bullshit. I mean, what a fucking loser. Jack, if you're watching this video, you are a fucking loser. You have no doubt that everything is true. Why? Because you believe in the thing that lies to you every day? How fucking pathetic are you? Like I said, you're retarded, sir. You are a retard. The only people who believe everything in the news are retarded. And look up what that word means if you don't know. It means stunted. And you gotta be really fucking stunted to think that what's told to you in the news is true. I mean, here, since I can tell you're from the UK, look into this, dumbass. Remember the 5th of November from V for Vendetta, November 5th, the Guy Fawkes Jesuit plot day, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Go back and look how your puppet president, Boris Johnson, locked down England on Remember the 5th of November, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, after reading his 56-page winter plan about what to do about coronavirus, and after saying the new UK strain is 56% more infectious. And for the record, at first he said it was 70% more infectious. Again, United Kingdom equals 70, coronavirus equals 56 forward, 70 in reverse. If you can't see that's a load of bullshit, again, it's your problem. You're too dumb. You're too retarded, like most people are. And that's what we try to fix over here. We try to pull people out of that retarded state. But for some of you, you guys just like eating bullshit too much. But again, to quote this guy, but there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that what we are hearing is true. And from everyone at Golf Magic, we wish Tiger a speedy recovery and send our love to his family. Okay, so again, that's Jack Seddon, complete dumbass, who has been proven incorrect today. You've been proven incorrect, buddy, unless you're just a complete fucking moron. I mean, come on. You're saying it's not a Masters ritual, but they're going to put this out the day before? Come on, dumbass. On the 97th day of the year when he won his first Masters in 97? Come on, dumbass. 43 days later when he won his last Masters at age 43? Come on, you fucking retard. God damn, I'm so sick of people, man. What a world of fucking losers we live in. I prove these people wrong every day. They keep coming back with their bullshit, believing in the liars, hating the truth. And you just see what a bunch of programmed fucking losers. The conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, buddy. Sorry, I've been proven right every single fucking day since I started in 2013. That's a whole lot of proofs because I've been here every single day. Try to disprove a thing. Could never do it. So, anyway. Sheep will be sheep. Jack's a sheep. Most people are sheep. Don't worry about sheep. Again, the value of a sheep is zero. In terms of a math equation, you can have the opinions of 1,000,000 sheep. What's 1,000,000 times zero? Zero. Worthless. One man, like yours truly, the opinion's worth infinitely more than 1,000,000 sheep. 1,000,000 sheep times zero, zero. One is infinitely bigger than zero. Understand that. So, people could say I'm arrogant. I don't care. I back up my stuff every day. The facts continue to land. The critics continue to be destroyed. Add Jack to the list. We don't say mum over here. Don't falsely quote me. We don't speak about mums. Our word is mom. Work on your listening skills, Jack. Work on your intuition. Work on your intelligence. The world has way too many fucking retards. You're clearly one of them. And you guys are a real cancer to the earth. Hopefully you do go out and get the vax because we got to get rid of your types. Yeah, and Jack, be sure to watch the TV show Utopia. Came out in your country first about depopulating through the vax. And then please do go out and try out all the vaxes. Get them all. Be the first man to get them all at once. Report on that. I'm telling you, that'd be a net gain. One less Jack in the world. Hit the road, buddy. All right, we'll leave it there. Until next time.